Do you know which European country is still the only one to have the death penalty? Watch to the end to find out. But first, have you ever pondered the moral complexities of the death penalty? It's a form of punishment that has sparked fierce debates across the globe, and yet it in practice in several countries today. Let's embark on a journey around the world, exploring the controversial terrain of capital punishment, one nation at a time. China, for instance, has the notorious recognition of possessing the world's highest execution rate. The exact figures, however, remain veiled in mystery as the state regards them as classified. It is a state secret, but it is believed that the number of executions is in the thousands annually. Crimes that can lead to the death penalty here span from murder to drug trafficking and corruption. As for the methods, they primarily employ lethal injection but do not dismiss the occasional use of other methods like the firing squad. Venture into Iran, and you'll uncover a parallel yet unique story. The nation witnessed a significant surge in the use of the death penalty by 43%, a reaction to vast protests sparked by the tragic death of Mahsa Amini. Iran's record of executions is notably high, especially those associated with drug-related offenses. The year 2023 saw at least 834 individuals hanged, marking the second highest count of executions in a span of 2 decades, as indicated by a report released by rights groups. What's alarming is the lack of exemption for even juvenile offenders, and the execution methods involving hanging and, on rare occasions, a firing squad. In Saudi Arabia, the death penalty is a routine consequence for a spectrum of crimes ranging from murder and drug trafficking to apostasy, and even being charged with sorcery. Public executions, commonly performed by beheading, are frequent occurrences. The country has drawn criticism due to its lack of transparency and fair trial standards. Interestingly, the year 2023 marked a surge in such executions, with the total count reaching 170, based on an announcement by Saudi authorities. This figure included 4 people who met their end on New Year's Eve, thereby surpassing the total number of executions in the previous year. Iraq also uses the death penalty to punish offenses such as terrorism, murder, and kidnapping, primarily through the method of hanging. However, human rights organizations have expressed concerns about the summary trials that often precede these hangings and the adherence to fair trial procedures. Egypt employs the death penalty for crimes like murder, terrorism, and drug trafficking. Mass trials have led to numerous death sentences, raising concerns about due process and political motivations in sentencing. Heading over to Pakistan, the death penalty applies for offenses including murder, terrorism, and blasphemy. With a high number of death row inmates, including juveniles and mentally ill individuals, there are serious concerns about fair trial standards and the arbitrary application of the death penalty. In the United States, 27 states still practice capital punishment for heinous crimes such as murder, treason, and espionage. Among these states, Texas stands as the state leading the execution numbers, being responsible for the most executions over recent years by far, with a staggering count of 586 since 1977, as of the end of 2023. The procedures for these executions differ, encompassing methods like lethal injection, electrocution, the gas chamber, and firing squad. This variation in execution methods sparks intense debates over the fairness, racial disparities, and the peril of wrongful convictions. Somalia applies the death penalty for offenses such as murder, terrorism, and piracy. With a lack of centralized authority, practices vary across regions, raising concerns about due process and the rule of law. Bangladesh uses the death penalty for crimes like murder, rape, and drug trafficking. The controversial International Crimes Tribunal has sentenced many to death for war crimes committed during the 1971 Independence War, stirring concerns about fair trial standards and political motivations in sentencing. In Sudan, the death penalty applies for crimes including murder, apostasy, and adultery. The methods of execution include hanging and stoning. However, human rights groups report concerns about due process and political repression. Yemen employs the death penalty for crimes including murder, terrorism, and drug trafficking, primarily carrying out these sentences by firing squad. These executions often take place in public, raising significant concerns about the adherence to fair trial standards and the potential for political interference within the judiciary. Limited information is available about North Korea, but it is known that the death penalty is enforced for various offenses against the state. Executions are carried out in secret, often in political purges, signaling a severe lack of transparency and accountability regarding these gruesome events. In addition to these covert operations, there are also public executions that are chillingly showcased to the local population. An example of this horrifying spectacle was witnessed by 25,000 individuals who were forced to gather at Haesan Airport in North Korea. On this occasion, 9 individuals faced a firing squad execution due to their involvement in a beef smuggling ring. These individuals had illicitly bought and sold around 2,100 government-owned cows, slaughtered them, and distributed the meat to markets and businesses. The methods of execution in North Korea vary, but reportedly include firing squad, hanging, and even the use of a mortar shell. Syria applies the death penalty for offenses such as murder, terrorism, and espionage. Executions are carried out by various methods, including firing squad and hanging. The ongoing civil war and political instability complicate the assessment of the justice system and human rights situation. The exact statistics, however, are difficult to obtain due to this ongoing conflict and political instability. Finally, Belarus, standing unique amidst its European counterparts, is the only European nation that continues to implement the death penalty. This austere form of punishment is employed for severe crimes such as murder and terrorism. Yet, alarming concerns arise surrounding the fairness of trials and potential political motivations that influence sentencing. This creates a convoluted image of the death penalty practices in Belarus. Further intensifying the situation, there are no accessible statistics available detailing the exact number of executions carried out. However, Amnesty International approximates that as many as 400 people may have been executed since Belarus gained its independence in 1991. The primary method of execution? A chilling shot in the back of the head. It's evident that the death penalty, a custom as old as civilization itself, is still a hotly disputed topic laden with issues of morality, justice, and human rights. Each nation's narrative is a part of a larger global story that is still being written. One thing we know for sure, the discussions surrounding the death penalty are far from concluded. Tell us in the comments, what are your thoughts on capital punishment? If you found this video informative and are eager to learn more about such intriguing topics, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Subscribing will keep you abreast of our latest content, ensuring you never miss out on any of our insightful videos. Your support is instrumental in helping us create more high-quality content, diving deep into the topics that matter most. Remember, your one click makes a big difference. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay curious, stay informed.